I'm a bit of a diva now. So I used to get asked by companies and by guests, well, what questions are you going to ask? And then you get people that do pre-prepared answers, and I hate it.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, look, if you want to be on the podcast, then I'm not going to send questions. What I do is I ask the guest what they want to talk about. So I go, give me 2 or 3 headline topics that matter to you, because I want to talk to you about the stuff that you are passionate about. If I do that, I will create something that I know will resonate with the audience.
Real people, real stories, and real challenges that break the status quo. I'm your host, Zivile, and welcome to Perception Paradox.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Perception Paradox. Today we're at Web Summit, and I do have my guest, David Savage, joining Perception Paradox.
You've given it a really weird accent there that it doesn't deserve. Savage.
Savage.
It's very boring. It's very boring. I know. Anyway,
okay,
hello.
Again, okay.
You're going to do it again? No, I thought it was good. I liked it.
You like my introduction for you? How is the Web Summit for you so far?
Well, obviously it's the first morning. It's good. It's busy. It feels like there's a bit more going on.
Yeah?
Like the career ladder guy just there, and there's little pop-up things more than there are maybe in previous years.
Have you seen that humanoid thing, the robot?
No.
The robot was like literally dancing and flowing like a real human. That was scary. I was like, whoa.
But I kind of look at stuff like that and I'm like, that's probably like easily programmed and it looks cool. But did you see the video online the other week of like, I think it was last week, of some guy that had paid like £20,000 for a humanoid robot and it just ran into a mirror?
No, I haven't.
Terrible, like disastrous, and it was just £20,000. I think we're a long way, or $20,000. We're a long way off genuine autonomous humanoid robots that are useful.
Okay, thank you, David, for calming me down. Anyway, so the reason
for being a killjoy.
Yeah. So the reason we're here. So last year, I remember I invited David to join my podcast, and he was like, literally, was so professional. Well, he's been in this industry for 10 years. He just flipped it around, so I became a guest, and he became an interviewer.
I don't like answering questions.
He doesn't like to answer questions, but today I'm having his precious time here in between the sessions to touch base a bit on the creator economy and the podcasting. Right? You've entered this space 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That was very new, just the beginning of platforms. And you've been in this whole game for, congratulations, 10 years already. So I would like to hear your insights. Maybe let's start with how has it been so far over the years?
Well, look, I didn't start podcasting because I wanted a podcast.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people start podcasts because they feel they should have a podcast. That wasn't why. For me, it was very much a case of I was working in sales and I wanted to find out if I could find an avenue that people would want to talk to me. My job in sales was to book meetings. I wanted to see whether or not I could get people to book meetings with me. So the best way to do that was to offer them something. And at the time, it would have been a YouTube channel. Couldn't afford it, didn't know how, whatever. So the easiest way to create a content channel was to put my phone in the middle of the table and record conversations with clients and get them to share their experiences. And I thought, share that in amongst the community. They're in delivery mode. There might be some value in that. And sure enough, 20 episodes in, 40 episodes in, 60 episodes in, people began to kind of tune in. And it took like 6 months really to have any following. But slowly over time, people began to notice, and PR companies found it, and it proved the theory that once I had a bit of legacy guests, once I had a bit of a back catalogue, people wanted to be on the show. So as a salesperson, wanting to have a reason for people to talk to me, all of a sudden people were booking meetings with me because they wanted to be on the podcast. So it wasn't like I got into podcasting through I want to be a content creator. It was actually trying to flip the sales process on the head.
Okay, so and it seems like it worked so far if you're still continuing.
Yeah, but I suppose my point is that I think good content has to have a really clear idea of what you're trying to achieve behind it. I think a lot of people like the idea of being a content creator, but they don't have a purpose. Like we interview founders all the time, and they have purpose, they have mission that informs what they're doing. For me, it had to be about good content. It had to be that I was putting something out there that had value, but if I did that, I thought people would want to talk to me. And the underlying core principle was, can I get people to want to book meetings with me?
Okay, that's great. And very valid point that a lot of people right now really just want to become creators, create content with no, sometimes not maybe meaning behind, but no purpose or
Yeah,
clear
that
value
kind of like,
add.
this is the goal, this is why I'm doing it, this is why it will fit into what I am trying to achieve.
How did your creator process has evolved over the years? Because we've now seen lots of different technology coming into play, from editing softwares to actually preparing for the content, and to market being so crowded and saturated that you need to somehow differentiate yourself in different ways.
Yeah, and obviously, like, you know, there's a lot of very, very well edited, very well put together podcasts that are done by slick production houses, and the vast majority of people entering the space don't have those budgets, they don't have that time. For me, I've actually simplified it. I think the default is that people see stuff and they think that they need to make something that's very slick, very, very complex in a way. I think that actually slick is stripping back and not overly editing. So when I started, I was like, this is a business podcast, therefore it has to have a business tone, and it needs to be edited so that it's really sharp. And that didn't work because it wasn't my voice. It wasn't being authentic. What I realized was that actually I'm far better in a situation where I'm just having a conversation, where I'm not overly prepping, where I'm not overly editing, where I'm not thinking about, let's have a really slick process. Let's just strip it back to an interview, and that interview be a conversation, and leaving it as intact as you possibly can and posting that. So I think the innovation, for me anyway, and for what I see as good content, is realizing that it doesn't have to be something overly complex. You can up the production value with small steps with your recording equipment, sure. But actually, I still use the same editing equipment that I used 10 years ago.
Here we go. And talking about you having those conversations, so you mentioned, okay, you just allow the conversation to flow. So how do you choose your guests?
I just look for people who are interesting.
Okay.
I don't put too much thought into it.
Yeah.
Which might sound really stupid, but
I do the same.
no, but I do, like, if I have a conversation with someone at a conference, the whole reason for coming to a conference like this is to have those moments of chance where you get into a conversation with someone and you go, you're doing something really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Come and talk to me. I don't need you to be a name, because there will be names that come into the show naturally through the work that I do. I get the government on the show now. This morning I did an interview with a guy called Evan, who was the #1 employee at Twitter. He hired Jack Dorsey. Like, if you are in the podcasting game long enough and you stick to it, you will get interesting big name guests. Yeah. But what you actually want is you want people who are just curious, interesting people, and they might be pre-seed, they might be an entrepreneur who is at the beginning of their journey, but if they've got a really clear idea, if they've got a different way of seeing the world, that makes them a good guest. So I think coming to stuff like this and having conversations with people and being open is the best way to select guests, and not being overly prescriptive of saying, well, you need to be like Series CD because I want a kind of a growth story, or you've got to have raised X, or you've got to have like this profile. Actually, some of those people, they might be leading companies, but they might not be the best storytellers.
100%. And how important for you is the audience growth?
Not particularly.
So basically for you, it's more ROI when you potentially...
So the audience has grown on my show very organically and very slowly. I've never done paid advertising. My principle has always been, I'm not trying to do a gotcha moment with any of the guests. I'm trying to share their story and trying to give them a platform.
Yeah.
It's not an interview, it is a conversation. And therefore you create something that they are happy with, that they want to promote. And if you compound that over time, like I spoke to NordVPN this morning, the NordVPN PR team are here.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, when we've made the podcast, obviously we'll share it, we'll push it out. You know, you get companies like that, week after week, episode after episode.
Yeah.
They are.
Represent.
Yeah. Then you will get traction, you will get audience.
Yeah.
And that will take care of itself if you create good content. It might be slow, but at least you will then know that it is an audience that genuinely is tuned into what you are making.
Yeah, super cool. In those 10 years, when you've been running the podcast, did you have any moments of doubt, or what kept you going? Curiosity?
I didn't really have any moments of doubt because I've never really I just do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
Right? I suppose the the fair way to answer that question is to think about actually how the podcast is funded. Because some people create a podcast, they have to think about advertising.
Yes.
They have to think about, well, how is this going to make me money because I need to pay bills? I am full-time employed by the same company I've worked for since I was 22 years old. I've been at the same company for 18 years. I started this as an internal innovation project, for want of a better phrase. It was a passion project off the side of my desk that became my job because the company saw value in it. So I have a full-time salary. I've never needed to monetize the podcast. I'm very lucky in that regard. They give me a budget to spend and to create, and they have actually told me to turn down sponsorship opportunities because they don't want it to dilute what I'm doing.
Wonderful.
So, have there ever been any moments of doubt? It would only ever be, are the people in my business aligned to what I'm trying to create? Have I got the room and the autonomy to keep it what I think it needs to be?
Yeah.
Thankfully, they've always been really good and trusting and have essentially let me get on with it in a way that I think will benefit it. But obviously from time to time you have a change of CEO, you have new ownership comes in, whatever else. How are they going to view it? How are they going to see it? Are they going to want it to be more of a sales channel? Because if it, personally, in my opinion, if it becomes a sales channel, it fails. It has to be a content channel that sales is a very soft piece of it. Like I exist in the company because I make introductions to the company, but you do good content, that'll happen 5% of the time naturally anyway. So the doubts have only ever been about, are the intentions of the business aligned with my intentions? And they always have been. But obviously at moments over 10 years, you kind of go sit down with someone and go, well, this is what I'm trying to do. And they kind of go, yeah. In terms of enthusiasm though, no, because I'm an ex-recruiter, right? I like talking to people.
You definitely do.
So if you get a chance to sit down and talk with someone, what's not to like about that? That never gets old.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always, like this afternoon I'm on stage with 3 teenagers who are building products. Like one created a soap to treat skin cancer at the age of 13. How is that not interesting?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm totally here with you. So we're sitting here now, people who really love podcasting, asking questions, and they're curious. Where do you see this whole industry going? Because now we have really big boom of content creation.
It's still growing, I mean, isn't it? I mean, where do I see the industry going? I don't really know exactly how to answer that because I think the brilliant thing about podcasting is the low barrier of entry is the fact that people who are passionate about something can create.
Yeah.
I don't see that changing. I think tools, microphones, editing equipment, all of that is getting more accessible, which is a good thing. I think that there could be some more diverse voices within the industry. But maybe that's informed by the fact that I'm horribly immersed in an English language speaking world, and maybe there are diverse voices in other parts of the world that I just am not aware of. Podcasting is still predominantly, the audience is, I think, 60%, 66% male. Most podcasts probably skew towards a male audience. But again, like I say, that might be might be an English language thing. I don't know. So on that front, I don't know. I don't know where it kind of necessarily goes. I just think it grows because there's an audience, there's an appetite. People want to tune into sources of information about things that they care about.
Yeah. David, do you have some kind of favorite moments from your podcasting years? Let's say something that literally struck you after having a conversation and shifted the way you think. And
so I always kind of think about, I often get asked what my favorite episode is.
Not
really
necessarily.
hard.
It's very hard. No, it's more about the learning.
No, I get that. I get that. This is tied to that.
Yeah.
I did an interview years ago with What 3 Words. Have you heard of What 3 Words? They're a British startup that have divided the entire world into a 3 meter by 3 meter squared grid. So basically, these paving stones on the floor is about the size of the grid.
Yeah.
Every single spot of the earth has a unique 3-word address. So I moved house 5 years ago. It was a new build house. It wasn't on the UK postal system at the time. So obviously getting anything delivered to the house was hard because the postcode wasn't registered with Royal Mail. Mm-hmm. But I could go on What 3 Words and I could say to anybody that our address is Cellos, Cheetahs, Hopefully. So I could get stuff delivered to the house. You kind of go, okay, fine. Say there's a tsunami in the Indian Ocean and you need to get an AIDS package to a refugee camp on a beach. It doesn't have an address, but it might be trainer, gimbal, microphone, and you know exactly where to deliver that. So you have a car crash halfway down a road and you're onto the emergency services and you're saying it's like maybe a mile or two past this turning on the B165. It's like I have no real idea where I am. But you can say, I'm a shoelace nail watch, and the emergency services know exactly where they are and can get help to you. Say you're in a queue for a concert, and you're queuing for 6 hours, and you get really hungry, and you want a pizza. You can turn around to the pizza delivery company and go, I'm at nose ring, teeth, lips, and they know exactly where you are, and they can deliver the pizza to you in the queue.
Wild.
It's like one of these really simple ideas where you go, fuck, I could have had that idea. I could have divided the world into a grid and given them all a unique 3-word code. That's one of the simplest ideas you could come up with. The execution is obviously a different thing entirely, but it's one of those moments where you go, God, really good innovation is just simple, well executed. It's not building something that's horribly complex. It's not coming up with something wholly imagined that like, you go, wow. It's just seeing a problem and coming up with a really simple, scalable, executionable idea.
That's amazing. What are your 3 non-negotiables while creating the content?
I don't send questions to anyone. I'm a bit of a diva now. So I used to get asked by companies and by guests, well, what questions are you going to ask? And then you get people that do pre-prepared answers, and I hate it.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, look, if you want to be on the podcast, then I'm not going to send questions. What I do is I ask the guest what they want to talk about. So I go, give me 2 or 3 headline topics that matter to you, because I want to talk to you about the stuff that you are passionate about. If I do that, I will create something that I know will resonate with the audience.
Yeah.
So I refuse to send questions. But I do send them the podcast afterwards and go, look, this is the finished article. Are you happy with it? Because you want them to get behind it. So one of my absolute non-negotiables is I don't do questions in advance.
Okay, so since we're now at Web Summit, buzzing around, and I've met already many people who are coming for the first time or having different role. How do you prepare yourself for the conference? Are you the one who is like scheduling the meetings, or you're the one who is flowing with the serendipity, or maybe you have your own strategy how to approach it?
Personally, I think if you come here and you're going with the flow, that can be great from an education point of view. If you're just wanting to go from stage to stage to stage and soak up information, great. But if you're looking to network, it's a disaster because everyone has such busy schedules. If you're not in their schedule, it's going to be impossible to get into their schedule now. And it's going to be very ad hoc, and I don't think you'll get the best out of it. So from my perspective, where I want to meet new people and I want to network and you have to do that in advance. And you might have 7 meetings in each day. Some of them might slide because invariably someone gets pulled into something else, or, people's diaries change. But if you've got 7 or 8 things in your diary in advance, 5, 6 of them will happen.
Okay, that's a good ratio. So basically you prepare in advance, you see whom you want to meet, you try to schedule the meetings, and then you leave some room for having a serendipity. All right, I know that you're about to leave for your next talk, next conversation.
Yeah, they'll be looking for me inside,
And David, thank you so much for sharing your quick adventure through the podcasting world. And I would say this kind of simple, down-to-earth approach, and also showing us that podcasting can be also in a very different way as a part of innovation, as a part of kind of processes also of the company, while keeping your authenticity, which I really admire. So ladies and gentlemen, with me we had David Savage from Nash Squared and Tech Talks. I'll leave the links in the show notes. And thank you so much, David.
There you go.